how are we today? Welcome back into the greenhouse. If we haven't met already, I am Sam. I'm your plant collector in Melbourne. And today I have a little bit of like a review video. As you can probably see from the thumbnail and the title. I'm wondering if you guys have actually seen this if you're in Australia, but this, my friends, is what I believe to be called a TerraPlanter. So I got this for Christmas from my broski, which is Jacob's little brother, and at first I thought it was just a normal terracotta pot with a fancy like look to it, and as you can see here, it's like texturized. It's got this like lid and it's got this like bottom half as well. I was just like, it's all right. But then I did a little bit of research, and this, my friends, is actually an inverted planter, but I've never ever seen anything like this before. So essentially what this is, you put water on the inside rather than dirt, and you put the plants like on the outside surface. I think that you have to use some twine, or unless they have some really great aerial roots or something, and essentially just latches on to this because of all of like the texture it kind of grips on. So I might put the people's Instagram page, as well as I might also put an image of what they essentially can look like. There's not much setting up to it other than putting a lot of water in it and figuring out which plant to actually put this on. You can put grasses, ferns. The one thing that I really wanted to do was put an orchid on here. I have this guy, and this is from one of my unboxings quite some time ago, and I'll be honest, it has struggled, but it is still a very, very beautiful orchid with beautiful patterns on it. Gorgeous purple back, and it's even got a little growth point just here. You can see that flower well and truly died ages ago, so I might just chop that off. These are my sexy sucateurs from one of my friends, Kate. So I'm just going to chop that dead thing off. And I know that I have neglected this plant. I have totally underwatered it. There was another orchid that I had in that video which has definitely died because I haven't watered it or given it much love, but this one has somehow survived. I want to be a better plant mom and just pop this one on here and see if it survived. Chucking that in there. Oh, this guy is not looking good. The roots have totally dried up. There is no healthy roots on this one. But what I can see is that there is still life in like a little bit of the roots. So I'm kind of hoping that I can still save it. Oh, whoever gave me this has styrofoam in their mix and lots of pebbles. No wonder this guy dried out so quickly. So what I'm going to do essentially is just make sure that all of the dead roots and the healthy roots, of course, are touching the pot. Like so. Maybe just like that. I might just tape it there. This guy is probably not going to make it, to be completely honest. But I'm still going to give it a go because it still has new growth. So I'm pretty surprised. I have my twine right here. I actually got this from like a vintage store. I think it was like St. Vinny's or something, secondhand store, and it came with all this twine. I thought it was such a steal. I'm going to grab some twine. Do you guys like my old granny shirt? So I also found this from an op shop ages ago. I thought that wearing a terracotta shirt is a must. And this shirt is like humongous on me. It's actually a dress. Okay, and back to plants. So let me just see. I think I just want it dead set in the middle, just like that. Like that. And I thought to myself, it's probably a good idea to use twine because it could probably wick the water to the plant as well. It's secured in place, and I might secure the roots a little bit as well. Now, what plant does Sam think will do well on this planter? Yeah, apparently Hoya do really well. So the idea is that if it is like an epiphytic plant or like an epiphyte, that normally in nature they climb up like a tree on some bark, then they are probably going to love this planter. But keep in mind, not all plants can be used for this, unless you want to use this as a normal planter and chuck dirt in there and then put the plant on top. But that's kind of like not the cool part of this thing. So I definitely want to keep trying out putting plants on the surface or on the outside. I'm going to try putting maybe a Hoya on there. So this may or may not be a great idea, but we'll find out. I have this Hoya Splash or Mathilde. I'm not sure if this guy is actually a splash. When I first bought it, it kind of looked like that without any splashiness. So I thought that this was just a normal Hoya Mathilde. And then this strand came about and it's a lot more splashy. So I'm not 100% sure exactly what this is, but I do want to try. Again, this might be a bad idea because this totally might outgrow the planter really quickly. So I'm going to give it a shot. So this guy, unlike the orchid, has actually good roots. So I am hopeful. So what I'm going to need to do is make sure that this root ball has contact with as much terracotta as possible. What I really like about this terracotta pot is that one, it's very different, which I appreciate, but two, that you would be able to see all of the roots always. Because it's kind of self-watering, it requires a lot less attention. It's a lot less maintenance in my opinion, because at the end, we're just going to put water in that reservoir, so it's self-watering. There's already a lot of points where I can see that roots are trying to grow and grab onto. So I really think that it's going to love the planter. I wonder if it'll be easier if I like wet it. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Or did I just make this harder? I think I just made it harder. To be honest, this is quite difficult securing it. I just don't think like all the roots are going to be touching the terracotta. Okay. Overall, I think I am done. This I found a little bit difficult to try and get the roots or the plants to really attach or to like just be on the surface of the terracotta. I don't really know how else one would do it if it was with twine, but if you've got a plant with already a pretty big established like root system, not all of it is going to be touching the pot. That's going to be quite interesting to see whether it lives, but I think you might actually need cuttings on this pot rather than like a full established plant. I'm not 100% sure, but you know me, I like to experiment. But I'm really liking the way that it looks because the Hoya Mathilde had two different strands. I managed to get one kind of going more below and then one at the top. I can't wait to see what happens. That root system there just does not look that great. I have a good feeling about the Hoya because they normally will make lots and lots of roots anyway, and the great thing about it is that because of these grooves, they'll have a bit of texture to latch onto, and it will be constantly humid, which is perfect. So I'm just going to fill her up. You know, Sam is a terracotta girl. I really and truly love the look of this. I just wonder if there could potentially be different sizes because I feel like my plants are going to, especially the Hoya, to grow out of this quite quickly. Amazing. And for some of you, you may be asking, how does it even work? How are plants allowed to grow outside of the pot? It is a natural material that is porous, which means water can travel through terracotta through osmosis. And so hopefully, if I give it a little bit of time, this water that is in the reservoir will kind of seep through and the color of the pot will turn more into like a dark, deeper terracotta. Although it doesn't look like it's doing much at the moment now, does it? Good in like a home, but in terms of practicality and hopefully the growth, we'll just have to see and have an experiment about it. I'm just wondering if it will be wet enough for the actual plant. But anyway, that is it. Oh my goodness, so the terracotta pot in general is already heavy. Putting the water in it though, oh my gosh, it's really heavy now. I wouldn't say it is the full-on review of this product just yet. I'll give you guys an update either on here on YouTube or on my Instagram. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the greenhouse with me once again. If you guys have purchased this yourself and you're currently using it, or even if you didn't have a really good experience with it, I'd love to hear anything that you have to say down below. I'm very interested to see the results in a couple of weeks. I'll see you next week for my next video. Bye! Mwah!